If you cannot lead yourself,
you're in trouble.
yeah, you're in trouble. At that point, you cannot even trust yourself. You can't show up for yourself. Everybody, in my view, should be able to lead themselves.
Yeah.
Strive to that point.
How we feel about anything, regardless of what it is, solely depend on the meaning we give to it. They've taken away your right to decide. In general, we just say, yes, sir. Take my freedom to choose how to feel.
There's a good chance that the quality of your life is suffering because you're not leading correctly. And yes, every last one of us is called to be a leader. In this episode, we discuss what that means for you and why you shouldn't spend another day without having this information. All right, people, leadership. Today we're talking about leadership. And it's fair to assume that when that word comes up, when that concept comes up, that people perceive a person, man or woman, leading people, being in charge of people.
Yes.
Something such as a parent, being in charge of their home and making sure that they're well provided for and that they have the right direction in life. Or in a movie, for instance, the main actor being on the battlefield, delivering a powerful speech before war begins, or a president or a pastor leading a congregation. But today we're making a point a little bit different. We are arguing that before one gets to that place where you're leading people, what really matters is that you are able to lead yourself. So before we go on to the bits of this conversation, and there's 5 key concepts that we're going to discuss today in order to help you achieve that mastery of self, that leadership of self. Something that I didn't know that was new to me as well, and as this ties to all the concepts that we've discussed so far, is leadership. I never viewed it as a part of growth. It's the need that we have for growth. I never considered that to be one of the manifestations of our need for growth, that we as human beings have within us that drive to grow as a leader. In many aspects, of that term, it's a very broad term, but we have deep within us, all of us who lean more on the needs of nature, as we cover the needs of the needs of the ego, and then the needs of nature, growth and contribution. Turns out the leadership is also part of the needs for growth. And naturally within you, you will have that. And some people suppress it, I'm assuming. And this conversation will shed more light on what that means and how one can embrace it and how one can achieve that level of leadership where you're now ready to go lead others. But it starts with the self. And like you said, becoming a person who can compel his own being to follow him. So are you able to guide yourself into doing what must be done, into doing what you know to be the right thing to do? So this is really the main crux of this conversation. And as Christian said as well, I agree wholeheartedly that the measure of a true leader is not really how many people follow you, but how many leaders have you been able to shape into that position of leadership?
There's something interesting about that, because earlier on, when I was thinking of leadership and I was challenged by the idea that everybody should be a leader, I thought to myself, well, if everybody really was a leader, then who would be leading who? Is there even a need for a leader if everybody is a leader? That was a point of view that I carried for a long time. But there is some more complexity there. I wanted to know what you think about that.
Everybody should lead self. That basic step, which was key for me in expanding my understanding of leadership. Everybody should get to the point where you have values, as we're going to talk about values being one of the first key concepts. That you have things that you know are right to do, yes, and that you are consistently able to talk yourself through, to motivate yourself through, to make yourself move in the right direction. In that aspect, I don't believe that everybody is called to lead other people. And there is no special virtue in that or anything. But yes, if you cannot lead yourself,
you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. At that point, you cannot even trust yourself. You cannot, and in a way, I may argue that it's hard to love yourself if your own being is in constant rebellion against you, because you can't trust you. You can't show up for yourself. You can't do those things that further your own self-interest. And how would you further the interest of others if within yourself you cannot trust? So everybody, in my view, should be able to lead themselves.
Yeah.
Strive to that point. And if you're called to be a leader of other people, yeah.
And I think that even confidence comes from there.
From being
You
able
know,
to lead yourself?
yeah. It just, I mean, confidence is database. You know, I'm confident in myself in areas because I know I've done those things. You know, I've told myself that I'll do those things, and I did those things. So there's a lot of people who will struggle with confidence and wonder why. Well, you don't show up for yourself. You don't believe yourself.
Yes.
You know, and maybe because you promise yourself too much. Who knows? You know, I've become very careful about the things I promised myself I would do, because I learned the value of starting to treat myself like I would treat other people. If I promise you I'll do something, you better believe I'll do it. I mean, unless something crazy happens, or most times it's done.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, just looking somebody in the eye, I promise you that I would do this, and I don't, and I act like nothing happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yet
So,
you look at yourself in the morning on a mirror, you promise yourself a bunch of stuff, and then you do it. How would a friend react to you if you promised them things consistently and didn't show up? They want to stop believing you.
yeah.
You know, all of a sudden you wonder why I don't believe in myself. You don't believe in yourself because you've been lying to yourself. A hard truth to swallow,
And then you end up settling, and then you end up settling for certainty, for
which is
things
miserable.
that do not challenge you, because you know what? I'll work at McDonald's. Not that there's anything wrong with working at McDonald's, for example, but you know, this is simple to do. I'm being told what to do. I have to show up. There's enough pain, you know, because missing my rent is very painful. There's enough pain. I'm going to show up and do what I have to, because I cannot trust myself to act on my passions, or even try doing something different, because there's too much data telling me that I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to show up.
And
But,
I hope we'll talk about confidence at some point, because there's a lot here
Oh,
to
yeah.
be stretched.
Definitely.
How do you develop it? Because it's a skill.
definitely.
I even
Yes.
I even learned that being attractive is a skill in some way. But everything is a skill, I guess. Yeah, confidence is definitely a skill. You can build it, and trust me, it's not about outwards. It's about the work inward. People think, oh, I'll be confident if I look better, if I dress better, if I'm admired by other people. And the truth is, confidence comes from the ability to self-lead.
All right.
In a way.
We're starting out hot. That's pretty good. So let's start discussing these 5 key concepts that help you in becoming. The word mastery is such a daunting term. It's so intimidating, but that's really what we're striving for. As we talked about in the last episode, that
Yeah.
you have to set goals for yourself that you know in a lifetime you cannot achieve, and that is a guarantee to satisfy that need for growth that you have. Ever perpetual growth. Though it's an illusory goal, it's something that you cannot quite grasp, but you're always moving closer to it. So,
Indeed.
first key concept to discuss in self-mastery, in self-leadership. Let's talk about values. Let's talk about values. It turns out that to lead yourself, you have to know what you stand for. You have to have values that you stick to. And unbeknownst to you, you have them right now. Your behavior is widely shaped by them. There's a reason why you just will not do certain things. You will not go certain places. You will not engage with certain types of people. It's because you have values. And we're going to define what values are, and also challenge you to sit down and discover for yourself, what are these values that I have that dictate my life? Are they mine? Are they my own? Is there a need to change them? Is there a need to find your own, or discover more that you need to have?
Yes.
This one is coming from me to the
Yes.
best way that I understand it. To me, values are the filters through which we engage with life. The filters through which that we engage with life, the way that we perceive life, the way that we approach life. Values will dictate where I go, where I don't go. Values will dictate what friendships I invest in, what relationships I invest in or not. Values will also dictate what I believe in and what I don't believe in, what promises I can make. So automatically, to me, there's a software in us, so to speak, that we call values, that it runs on autopilot really for the most part. And you can enforce your values over time, but we can discuss that here in a moment. If an opportunity is presented to me, beyond how much money it can return to me, there is a preset in me that will just value that quickly. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make so much money, but what does that require of me? Does that require of me to compromise what I perceive to be my values, my filters through life? Do I still feel good about myself when I go to bed, being engaged in this activity? So I'm curious to see what you're going to say about values, but to me, yeah, it's a filter through the filters through which we engage with life. Yeah, doing that exercise about discovering your own values is quite important. And as we are discussing values in the context of self-leadership, there clearly are some values that most leaders tend to have. Or I'm curious because one of the teachers introduced this to us. He listed a whole bunch of values that leaders seem to have, and not that I really disagree with him on those, but I did this exercise for myself. Are there some things as a person who's seeking to lead himself or herself? Are there some values that we all should strive to have? Or is there a shorthand list that, okay, you need to have this, you need to have that? Or to you, it depends on, it goes from person to person, or your life experience, your own context and situations in life?
That's an interesting question, but I think it's a mix of both. There are some standard value if you want to lead yourself properly, everybody should have. And then there are other values that have to be in context to your situation. I want to give an example of a value that everybody who seeks to lead themselves must have. You must treat yourself as a friend. You must love yourself. It's practically impossible if you cannot love yourself. If you're struggling to, not even, let's say you cannot love yourself, but you don't know yet how to treat yourself with kindness.
Let's talk about relationship with self, which is
Yes.
the next key concept that we're
You
going to
know,
talk about. Yeah.
that is an important value to have. I think everybody should have it, because if you don't have it, it makes the journey of going about change or about the struggle and the strain and the stretching that comes to require the change that makes you better very difficult to endure.
I see. And to me, one of the first key ones that come to mind that is, in fact, they go hand in hand with values, is integrity. Integrity meaning doing what you perceive to be right, consistently, regardless of consequences.
You don't have to be correct.
Yes. So a person of integrity will stand by their values, come what may. So integrity to me is one of those things, and I'd say courage as well. Courage as well is not too far from integrity. The courage to,
Integrity requires courage.
yes, that courage to pull through, even when the whole world is against you, even when you have nothing to gain. So in that way, integrity and courage are really not far from one another. It's really difficult to be able to keep your position when you know very well that the feedback that you're getting is not optimal, is not pleasant. To speak up when you're in a group of 199 or 98 people are going a certain way, and you having the courage to think to yourself, this is not right. This is not in alignment with what I perceive to be my values, and losing the approval of others in that way. Tough to do, but it turns out leadership requires that.
I mean, it makes sense because when you lack integrity when it comes to yourself, is akin to self-betrayal.
Yes.
And, I don't know if you're familiar with Dante's Inferno.
I haven't read that book. No.
Well, I've talked to you about it before.
Briefly.
Yes, anyway, this descent in circles of hell, basically. In the bottom, the pit of hell, where the bad and the bad go, those who go there are those who betray. As a people, not just as a culture, but as being, we have a disdain for those who betray. And historically, I think that it was Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar loved traitors. He loved traitors, but after they've done their job, he killed them. I love me a good treachery. It makes the job easy. But you betray your own people for me, for money, for safety, for glory, you don't deserve to live. You will kill the traitors that he used. There is a special pain on knowing that you betrayed yourself for something meaningless. Often we betray ourselves for simple pleasures. Think about it, for example, a married man in a moment of weakness, for a pleasure, you betray your vow that
Yep.
you're going to. That's that. I mean, that doesn't have to be unpleasant. That has to mess with your identity in the way you view yourself. So yeah, integrity is important because when we have integrity, we don't betray ourselves and we don't betray others. You have trouble leading yourself, you have trouble believing you can do great things because you've broken your own heart many times by a series of constant betrayals.
I agree with that. So it is imperative that if you
Lol.
are to gain self-mastery, you must have clearly defined values that you know, that you can discuss, that you can fall back on, refer to. And also, we challenge you or we suggest to you to take that self-inventory and observe yourself in a moment of quietude and identify those beliefs that you have, those hard beliefs that you dare not challenge, that you live your life by. You'd be surprised what you find out. You'd be surprised what you realize, and how many of those beliefs do not even come from you, and how many of them you chose, and how many of them you didn't, and which ones you must choose as well. So integrity is one of the things that we've identified as being one of those core values that leaders must have. This list is non-exhaustive. You can argue for courage, for kindness, for diligence, and all these things. But there definitely are values that you have to have for yourself and also to be a leader in general. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one. So the first key was values. Key concept number 2 is mastery of relationships. And relationships, any two relationship with any interaction with another human is a form of relationship, really. And again, right here, we're arguing as well that your relationship with self, as Christian alluded to earlier, is paramount. Your relationship with yourself has to be in a good place. It has to be healthy before you can show up for others and have healthy relationships with other people.
Treat yourself like you would treat a dear friend. I remember the first time I heard that, I was living by myself in Houston and trying to get done what I needed to get done. And I had the history of being extremely harsh on myself for the smallest things, like violently harsh on myself. And I remember I was watching a lecture by Dr. Jordan Peterson, and he said that most people treat their pets better than they treat themselves.
They're animals, they're pets. Yeah.
Yes. Most people, when they see their pets, for example, starting to get overweight, they will take them on more walks, they will feed them less. When their pet shows a sign of sickness, they will take them to the vet immediately. But they will not do that for themselves. You start feeling a sign of sickness like, oh, I'll be fine. We don't treat ourselves as good as we treat our pets. And we don't treat ourselves as good as we treat our dear friends. The reason why we have a relationship with ourselves is because it's a strange thing to say, but there is symbiosis there. The self relates to you. Meaning that if I treat you badly behind as a second party, in turn you will treat me badly. Most
In all
times.
likelihood, yeah.
Or you will detach yourself from me. Or you create distance from me. And just because we are trapped in our own body, it doesn't mean that it's different. When I'm angry at myself and I treat myself badly, then I'm developing thoughts that are harmful immediately. But that I do not solve problems that I have ahead of me. But when I'm patient, kind to myself, forgiving to myself, I have an empowering self-talk. This voice, my friend Jeffrey, is talking to me in an empowering manner. And something happened is that I become more open to solution and solving even difficult problems. So there is something there, something crucial, critical, that we must put effort toward. It's something you have to plan. like spending good time with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had lunch with a friend yesterday, and basically at the end, the advice to me was, you work too much, you need to give yourself time to have fun. You know, and they are right. I do work too much, and strangely enough, bizarrely, I'm having fun working too much. You know, but in a way, but I have not taken myself on a date in a long time, in a very long time. You know, this is something I used to do. Just discover the world. I mean, I guess circumstances change in different season times. Flexibility is reduced or increased depending on time. But I used to remember that I will make sure that I have my time, my long time, not with people, not everybody else doing something that I enjoy. Which one? The highest of the list was uh, discovering cities, seeing people. So often I would just book if I would go to my computer and look for the cheapest flight to the closest interesting thing I want to go to. Book that flight and just go there. No luggage, just the luggage in my hand. No plans. I land in a city and then I discover the city. I love that. I talk to random people, try to find restaurants, talk to the restaurant people. And then, why are you here? I'm here to just see the city. Small random city in Texas. I will even drive to these places. I haven't done it in a while. And I realized that I miss that. I miss myself. You know. So it's an example. We need to treat ourselves like we treat our friends, and identify what it means to treat ourselves correctly and what we need. Because without that, we don't have the bandwidth to even treat others correctly.
Your relationship with self is definitely the only one as far as interrelationship with humans. It's the only one that you don't have a choice. It's going to be there. You're going to be with yourself. So not being able to enjoy your own company is a miserable state of affairs, because you will never leave yourself, so to speak. And I suspect it is partly why many people resort to drugs and alcohol and things like that, because you being with yourself is too daunting, it's too frightening, it's too unpleasant.
Yes.
Because every time you're with yourself, you're reminded of all the stresses, of all the trauma, of all the dysfunction around you, and you must find a way to forget. You must find a way to drown your sorrows in a substance. And I have compassion for that, because I have dear family members who struggle with this, who they must be doing something to escape the issue, the frightening issue of being, confronted with themselves. So, relationship with self, key, paramount. And I like the way that Peter Sage put it, our teacher, who he said, we tend to be overly concerned about the diet that we put, the food that we put into our mouths. Those of us who do. And rather, the number one diet you should be most concerned with is the thoughts that you feed yourself, what you think of yourself. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And this ties squarely with your relationship with self. When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you speak life into you? Or do you speak death into you? Do you encourage yourself? This leadership thing, it will require for you to talk yourself into doing incredibly hard things. It'll require for you to have that capacity to motivate yourself, to get yourself up when you're down. And it is incredibly difficult to do that when you don't love yourself, when your self-talk is terrible, when you cannot stand your own presence. So very, very, very much worthwhile. And question back to you before we move on from this key concept.
Yeah.
Would you just say that in order for somebody to improve their self-talk, their relationship with self, how does even one achieve that? How does one even do that? Is it just about prioritizing, making sure that weekly you start building this habit, installing a system in your life whereby every week at least I'm gonna disconnect from everybody and go do something that I enjoy? Is that the way, or is there another way that I'm not perceiving?
I don't know. I mean, what you just described there was a proper bench system, obviously. It might work for some people, it might not work for some people. I don't think that, personally, from point of view, I don't think it's something that we can systemize well because it's so difficult to escape. You know, we talk to ourselves all the time,
Yes.
almost. All the time, all the time. And if what we are saying to ourselves is harmful, I believe that the first step is to develop the consciousness that the thing that we say to ourselves is harmful. That's the awareness. You know, I can find myself on a walk in a heated discussion with myself, and I'm beating up myself for something. You know, how could you do that? How could you have missed that? What is wrong with you? You know, and I'm in this heated self-chastising, right? For a long time, without ever having the awareness that I'm harming myself. Is an activity that is hurting me, but strangely feels good. You know, so the first step is to develop that awareness. Create a reminder almost that if I was saying these things to somebody else, I will be aware that it does not make them feel good.
Yeah.
Let's start there. And generally, for me, at least that was my path. Every time I would remember that though this kind of feel like a release is hurting me, the next step will be just I will stop. You know, I'll stop and move on to something else. So that is the first thing, stopping. And the second thing will be creating a habit to replacing it with the opposite. So there was a period of my life where at the beginning of the day, in the early hours of the day, after I've did my Bible study and spent my time with God, I will go to meditation, right? I mean, I don't think that I want to do meditation like I used to do in that term. My view of that has changed, you know, for many reasons. But I'll go in terms on meditation is just emptying my mind, quieting my mind as much as I can, and also giving myself a good dose of oxygen, proper breathing, right? And at the end of that, I had special affirmations that I would read to myself. You are exceptional. You are capable. You are kind. You are strong. You are driven. You're a problem solver. You make the life of people around you better. You know, for a long time. So, no matter what happened that day, no matter what I ended up telling myself that day, in a moment of weakness or forgetfulness, the first thing that I heard say myself that day were good things. The first step, the number one thing I believe you should do is create systems to be aware, to stop, to stop the flow as you are going. You know, repeat yourself to yourself that you need to remember. You need to remember that when you're talking to yourself, you're talking to somebody else. And do not say things that you wouldn't say to somebody else because you know those things will make them won't feel good. Unless it's necessary. Sometimes you need a good slap in the face to wake up. But you don't need to be beaten down every time for every single thing.
So treat yourself like you would a friend, as you said
Yes.
earlier, striving to get to that place. And in general, you know, any positive step in the right direction is a great start. I
Yes.
agree with that as well. Commit to something. Commit to
Anything.
starting in a certain place. And what you feed, inevitably in life, whatever you feed grows.
Yes.
You know, that simple act of committing to, I'm going to start wherever I can, wherever I'm able to, I'm going to start speaking to myself positively, be
Indeed.
kinder to myself. Any form of action in that direction, that's really what I would tell to somebody who asked me that question. How do I begin to love myself more or to treat myself better, more kindly, so that my self-talk is positive? Start somewhere. Maybe for you, it's just be more patient with yourself. Remember that, okay, the stuff that you see on social media is probably not right. Everybody seems to have it all figured out. No. Make mistakes, hey, I'm in the process of learning. I shall be patient with myself. So striving to get to a place where you treat yourself like your best friend. I love that one. I think that's good enough on mastery of relationship, I'd say, with self. Let's move on to the third key concept, and this one is mastery over meaning.
Oof.
Meaning. And this sounds very big, very lofty as we put it that way, but here we are talking about events. Mastery of meaning of events.
Yes.
Events are bound to happen. Anything that happens to you is an event. In this life, we are encountered, we are exposed to a variety of events. And those that seem to stick out for most people, unfortunately, that seem to grab most of their attention is the negative event, or the unpleasant event, I should say. There's many of them, potentially daily. You know, you have in several degrees of intensity. You know, from spilling your coffee in the morning to getting hit on the road, and hopefully you're healthy and well. All those things are just really events. Now, the way that you view them dictates the quality of your life. So how do we master these events? Do we have tips on that? And do you have any insights that you can share on this particular key concept?
How we feel about anything, regardless of what it is, solely depend on the meaning we give to it, not what it is at face value. That was the first change that I had to make. That whether I feel positively about anything, regardless of what it is actually up to me. That was crazy.
A very empowering notion that is hard to believe maybe at first when you first hear
Yes.
it.
Because I think to myself, think of a situation where you walk in a room and the first thing the first person you see is a slap. Voluntarily slap you in the face. Right? You can give that any sort of meaning. I'm being disrespected. You know? Or I'm being assaulted for some reason, for no reason. This is an injustice. Right? And that creates a boiling effect in you. You are angry immediately and you wanna retort. You wanna claim your ego back. And immediately you wanna return that with another aggressive slap. Right? This is a scenario I'm creating. And then you go ahead and slap the brother. And then the brother cheers. And the entire room cheers. Now you're confused. You're like, what's going on? Right? Well, turns out in this pseudo society, that is how you welcome a stranger.
Okay.
Right? And this is not completely fake. There are cultures like that. You welcome a stranger and they tap in the back. Rah! And then if they return it to you, it means they accept your welcome.
Okay.
So this entire event, now once they've explained to you the situation, you'll forget about the pain of the slap. Because when they slap you really, the pain of the slap goes away quickly. What stays and what stings is the feeling you have regarding the violence you've
Your
experienced.
judgment of the situation.
The judgment of the situation and the meaning you've given it.
Yes.
So now when they explain to you what occurred, the meaning of the event changes.
Instantly.
And all of a sudden it's a pleasant event. You're like, I just encountered the strangest culture. And it becomes a story you're going to tell to people. Now the truth is, every single thing that occurs in your life fits in that category, in that little concept. Your spouse, your father is late picking you up from school. You know, the story is, oh, he forgot me. He must not love me. Yeah. The truth is, the fact is, the brother just was late to pick up your school. It could be a blown tire. It could be it was held up. It could be he forgot. But it doesn't have to mean that he doesn't love you. Because the meaning that you give it that this brother surely doesn't love you. As a matter of fact, it's not the first time. I've seen signs in many other areas. All of a sudden, you're aligning this, and guess what? The fact that the brother was late creates a wound that has no place to exist. That only exists because you've chosen to keep it there. And this wound can become crippling and affect your relationship with others and even future children. We give meaning to events. And since we get to give meaning to events, isn't it a good idea for us to give it meaning that help us, that empower us?
The powerful notion that even builds up on the previous key concept that we just discussed, mastery over relationship with self or with others as well. Can you imagine being somebody who you have pre-decided from the moment that you woke up that I will not choose negativity. I will not choose to ascribe meanings to events that end up harming me and haunting me and staying with me longer than they should. If you adopt that mindset in your relationships, people will desire to be around you because all of a sudden Christian is not as offended. He's not as easily offended. He's not as easily angered.
Yes.
He's patient, he's kind, and all these things. So this concept right here is life-changing, when I internalized it. Because we are emotional beings, and we're going to talk about emotions as well here soon. Some events just come too emotionally charged. They hit you too intensely, too hard, and you don't have that space.
To make a decision.
That little space to choose now the meaning that you're going to ascribe. And guess what? That is okay. That is okay. You are a human being. Deal with whatever it is. Deal with it. If I walk into a place, somebody slaps me, that is a shocker. In fact, I don't know how I would respond. I'm not really a violent person in general, but that right there is too emotionally charged because I've been trained for 32 years of my life to ascribe a disrespectful meaning to it. I've been trained to view that as disrespect.
Assault.
30 years of experience. What do you want me to do? I've been assaulted. You better believe I'm lucky to also get mine, right?
Hey.
That is just, now, even if in the initial encounter, within those first few moments, your response is more of a reflex, that's okay. That's okay. You can still repair things. You can still go back and not allow that event to last longer than it should. A bad meaning can be assigned to an event that lasts a certain period of time. We're human. But after a while, the dust will settle. And when the dust settles, you have the chance to decide what meaning I'm going to attach to this.
You can reframe.
Yes,
It's not too late to reframe.
True.
And that is an interesting truth. As I'm thinking about this, have you watched the movie Radio?
Radio, no.
It's an interesting movie. It's a football movie, but there is a young fella with mental disability that carries a radio, and the football players are messing with him, humiliating him, right? But he's having fun. And a protector come to save him from this situation. And then he say, oh, but they are my friends. In his world, he's completely reframed this thing that is seen by the outside viewers as humiliation, as relational. He's having fun. He's not reading it like you are. And for that, in a movie, is described as retarded. But I bet they differ. In a way, is tapping into something that would be helpful for all of us to learn to do. For him, it's quick. It gives it a new meaning. I've been an ignored person, and here is this random group of people that are finally giving me the attention that I deserve. Regardless of the attention that it was. And we live in a world where we are being taught what to be offended about and what is offensive.
Yep.
And I'm coming to a place to realize that how strange is that? There are families that are breaking up because, you are not offended by the things I'm offended by.
How could you
How
accept
could
this?
you? Which kind of
How
heartless
can you hang
person
out
are
with
you?
this person? For that reason, I shall cross you off of my life.
That is madness.
Yes.
Madness. And
Yes.
the thing is, that is a form of, let me choose the word I'm using for. I want to use slavery. It's a form of slavery. they've taken away your right to decide. You see, in that quiet between the stimuli and the reaction, where you have your right to decide, they're saying you don't have the right to decide what meaning to give to these things. You might attribute to it the meaning that we say. In general, we just say, yes, sir. Take my freedom to choose how to feel. Why? Why must I feel things that harm me? And isn't that strange that true real pain, emotional pain is real, right? True emotional pain can disappear just with reframing. Just a bit of reframing. You know, like I am, I'm reminded of a situation. A friend, goes or is supposed to go on the first date with this dude that she's been pining over for months. She's excited about it and everything, and the dude was an EMT, right? And the dude doesn't show up on the date, doesn't call, doesn't message. So she calls me. I'm like, bro, and you're supposed to be on the date right now. Why are you calling me for? He's like, Christian, you can't believe the humiliation this brother put me through. I went to the restaurant, I sat there, and he never showed up. He didn't come, he didn't message, he didn't call me. I hate him. Which kind of monster is he? I thought he was a different sort of man. I thought, you know what I mean? She's going through all these things, and then a cry come here and there. And Christian is just listening quietly. Honestly, myself, I remember thinking, oh, man, that's rude. You're not going to even message her. I mean, what would you ask to go on a date with her? Well, turned out that quite literally, on his way to the date, there was a terrible accident. He stopped his car to go attend to the people and save their life. And in that process, the phone was in the car. So he went to the airport, stopping bleedings and doing what things the EMT do that I don't know. First aid, right? And then the next day, now because he spent the night in the hospital doing whatever he was doing, I don't know this world. And the next day he calls her, she does not pick up. Eventually, to find out that that event that was so negative, that made her question, is like all sorts of things. Am I even pretty? Oh my God, friends are annoying. But she questioned her whole life. She questioned. She lost her confidence. She questioned how she felt about herself. She actually, about the fact she wished ill to this poor innocent man in all form of way. I hope that the sky falls on him and everything. And then, when she finds out the real story later on, after ignoring this brother, now the thing flips. What a great man he is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how lucky am I to have his attentions. Obviously they figured it out eventually. But this was the same event that came with true pain. Ice cream tubs were consumed that night. Bad words were spoken. God knows the importance of that. And the same event becomes the reason why this will make a good husband. Just by reframing it. And this happens to us in small ways. Interactions with our parents. I remember having an interaction with my mom and she's losing her mind. It was something, but this was when I was going through this program the first time, getting information for the first time. And I could have reframed it as she's impatient, crazy, and trying to control my life. But I realized that if I framed it as she's a loving mother who is extremely worried and does not know how to deal with those emotions, it made me feel very differently about the conversation. And my attitude was actually very calming because of that. So this is actually, I think, one of the most important changes a human being can have of their life. Learning to reframe. And the truth is, the more often you do this, the faster it becomes.
You improve at making that choice.
Immediately.
Everything that you pour energy into, effort into, improves. Yep.
Yes. And I can say I've seen the improvement in me. I see that improvement in you, in a lot of things. Situation will happen. That split second of why, what, and then You know what? Probably something happened. Probably blah 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 blah. I choose something that gives me peace over the situation, and 90% of the time I am right. So I would have wasted my negative feelings for no reason.
That is a third key concept. That is, we've discussed first of all that on this attempt on mastering self, on leading oneself, there are many key concepts, and we're focusing on 5 pivotal ones today. The first one is your values. You have to have values. You have to have beliefs, strong beliefs that guide your life, guide your choices. You have to choose them. You have to be a participant in them. We've discussed your mastery of your relationship with self. You must find a way to interact with yourself in a way that is life-giving, that is empowering, that is positive, because you are the only relationship, interhuman relationship, that you haven't chosen, and you have no other choice but to carry on this side of heaven. And we've also discussed mastery over meaning of events. Meaning of events. Turns out that you cannot control events. Events will happen, but you can control how you view them. And the decision to become somebody who deliberately chooses the meaning of their event is one of the best things that you can ever do for yourself. And it touches on everything else that we've already discussed. So it is worthwhile to continue to accept that it's going to be hard at first, but over time you realize that any meaning that I ascribe to things becomes my reality. And you become, in that very way, the captain of the ship of your life. You get to choose. Things will happen, the river will bend in whatever ways, but you are steering. Okay, if the river bends this way, I'll bend that way. I'm not going to fight forces that are beyond my control. So, number 4, the fourth concept that we need to talk about is mastery over time.
Oh my God.
Mastery over time. To lead oneself, again, we live in a reality that is constrained by this fictitious concept that we call time, but that is very useful in us engaging with life. So how does one gain mastery over time? And what does that even mean? Far too often in this society right now, people are claiming, or people are lamenting the fact that they don't have enough time. There aren't enough hours in a day. So what's up with that? What is the best perspective from which to approach time? What would you say? What would you say about that?
I would say I don't know. That's what I would say. Honestly, and I'm not joking when I say I don't know, because there's many level of knowing. So there's the cerebral level of knowing something, and there is the knowing when it's part of your life. And currently, it is not part of my life. All the things we talked about, the area I am the weakest at in this season of life is this one. Mastery over time. Trying to manage time. What a crazy thing to do. What do you mean trying to manage time? Oh, I don't have enough time. What does it even mean? You have the same exact time as everybody else. As a matter of fact, time is fictitious. It's just a random divisions that we agreed upon as a convention so that we can measure something. We are the only creatures in the world that measure that thing. And we also don't experience it the same way depending on where we are. I mean, 5 seconds with your hands on a stove is very different from 5 seconds doing other things.
Facts.
But also, first off,
Relativity.
this thing is not constant. That is one. Secondly, what do you mean we have even to master time? Even that idea. How do we master time?
This is yet another relationship. As we talked about your relationship with yourself, this is relationship to time, how you approach it. Do you allow this fictitious concept to cause stress over your life, to cause negative self-talk over your life?
Which it does.
So it is just one of those areas in life where adopting an approach towards it that is life-giving, that is empowering, is also important here. Truth is, we all have the same amount of time in an objective sense. Though we experience it differently. As you said, events have the power to make time feel shorter, longer, or anything in between. All those things are true. What I've come to learn about time as I've battled my own battles with time, going from somebody who wanted to schedule every 15 minutes of my life to
drove everyone crazy. We were drove mad by this man.
to where I am now. Time has a lot to do with time management has a lot to do with behavior change than I realized. And it's really about behaviors. It's really about the way that you choose to fulfill the duties that you have in front of you. By that I mean this. We all have, at any given time, things to do, responsibilities upon our shoulders. And because you have a limited amount of time,
Yes.
it follows that you should also have a limited number of things that you can handle all at once. In a day, that is. My days of having unending lists, long lists are foregone because it also brought stress to my own life. Number one, you, based on the capacity that you have in the season, you decide, okay, this is what I can handle. And in fact, I urge you to even shoot a little less than what you think you need. Number one, rely on shorter lists. This one was, I know this is not meant to be a podcast about time management, all the tactics and all the little tricks, not really. But speaking of behavior change, I realized that for me, I used to have this notion of reducing my responsibilities. I've adopted that for a long time. And it's allowed me to feel better about myself, accomplishing my list, and also having that feedback that I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
But even that was not enough. Just reducing my responsibilities from day to day. One other trick that really helped me was allocating deadlines to things. It just helps me push forward, and also not using up the entire allocated time. What I would do before was, let's say I give myself 3 hours to mow the yard. Okay, I start mowing the yard and I look at my watch, I'm ahead on schedule. What do? Let me sit down and watch YouTube.
Oh my God.
I've earned the right to do something like that. Instead of,
Oh, you finish it and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna now spend this time too.
yes, and wait until the next task was due to happen. So one thing that I've adopted for myself is to no longer really use deadlines in a very passive way. Do what I'm supposed to do to the best of my ability. And if in doing it, it takes me more time, then it is what it is. I'm not gonna beat myself up. I'm not gonna have negative self-talk. And if I finish it before the allotted time, move on to something else. I don't have to, it's not like I'm not allowed to do anything else within that time, if that makes sense. So,
You actually thought you weren't allowed to. You're a bizarre man.
so there is that helps me. And also the other thing that I will share before Christian shares more,
Yes.
more thoughts that he has for you is the imperative need for relaxation, for downtime. Observing you, I know that is something that you, in my view, you don't have too much of. And in a way, I also don't have too much of. But the downtime
The view of everybody.
is absolutely critical to disconnect, recharge, fill my downtime with activities that build up my soul, that I feel good about. To restore myself to that place of enthusiasm. I'm doing something important, but I need to step away for a moment, go with my wife, go play with my dogs, go do whatever it is, go play pickleball, and then I come back inevitably much more recharged, much stronger, much more enthused, and it just serves the greater good overall.
Yes.
Otherwise, previous teachers in self-development have taught me you have to want it as bad as you want to breathe. If it takes you for you to, if the task requires for you to skip sleep, you skip sleep.
Yeah.
Now, that nonsense is no longer part of my life. That
Do
is-
what you must. Be a man.
So yeah, relationship with time is tough. I have not, this one, I do not feel as well that I've mastered it or anything, but in having to become comfortable with the fact that I cannot be available all the time. To the detriment of my people, to the dissatisfaction of my close ones.
Yes.
There's just no other way. I have to be selfish a little bit in that way, that I cannot drop everything, because my wife is a teacher. She likes to say, your emergency does not cause urgency in my life, or something like that.
That's funny.
But anyway, what do you have to add on this one? Mastery over time.
I came to disagree with his position on this. And the position entirely. Yeah. Even with what you say, it is good. It's true. But I believe now, my position with time is that the first thing to realize is that you have a relationship with time.
Yes.
For me, that's the first thing. Everybody has a relationship with time. Everybody's relationship with time is different. Everybody's tools are different.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing to avoid is avoiding having a negative relationship with time. Is my relationship with time causing me pain or not? Is my relationship with time hurting me? Am I stressed out about time every day? Or how often am I stressed out about time? If that list is long, or if the answer is yes, I'm stressed out about time, then maybe you need to do something about time. If that answer is absolutely not, maybe you're doing better than most. Okay, maybe you're good. That's one thing I will do. The second thing, I will hold myself from giving you any tactics, any advice, because everybody functions differently. Like for example, the threshold of signal over noise. I know, for example, between Ben and I, Ben has a greater quality of isolating signal, so it accelerates its focus delta. The time it takes him to get focus is shorter than the time it takes him to get focus. You know, so the time it gets him to re-engage with a task is shorter than what it takes me. So I cannot approach the way I time tasks or approach the task the same way as you, you know. And then there are people like Elon Musk, who the brother seems, at least from the outside, to be a madman. There are people that just, most of their days, they are doing the productive things. 90% of the time was doing something that is useful. Right? That's a different beast. That guys will do with 12 hours what you need a week to do. And there's some of us, you know, in that threshold, you know, you have a longer delta. It just takes you longer, and even when you're on task, you have periods where your mind is off what you're doing. All right. There can't be a technique, there can't be, at least this is my current position, a example, advice that works for everybody. They just can't be. Everybody's in different situation. Everybody's in different season in their lives. Their season in life point of view, for me, what I believe, in this season, you have to buckle down. You have to be a bit, you have to be a bit too focused on maybe getting things done than relaxing, which I believe is a season I am in. And probably there is a clue because a lot of my loved ones are telling me that I need to chill, you know. And I believe it's a question of season. There'll be a season where I will have plenty of time to relax, or I will relax more. And I know in the past I've had very relaxing seasons when I've done things that relaxing within my managing of time, right? So the key, what I found key, is this: try to figure out things you can do to make your relationship with time less contentious. Have your time as your ally, a tool that you use to move you forward, instead of something that is in your opposition, something you have to conquer and fight. If you have more instances where the time is actually an ally that pushes you forward, that helps you accomplish things, rather than something that causes you anxiety, you are winning. As long as you're getting things done. The idea of managing time, caca del toro, it can be managed. Time is something you use, you spend it. Spend it in a way that doesn't give you anxiety. At least that way I am right now. And obviously, people, I could be completely wrong. completely wrong. But this is what I believe. I believe that time management should be personal. Use time, don't be ruled by it.
Your position actually shifts my point of view also a little bit, but I still agree that
How?
there is meaning that it is hard, it is in fact unwise to give a blanket statement advice that will fit everybody. But I also believe that there are a few aspects of time that transcend our personal preferences or personal situations, and one of them being time being a limited resource in that way. Because time is a limited resource, and for most people out there, money also is a limited resource. At any given time, you have a certain amount of money. Just like you cannot just give away your money to anybody who comes and asks for it. When it comes, hey, I need 10 grand. You in the bank, you have 1.2 mil. But this stranger comes, I need 10 grand. Okay, here's 10 grand. The next person comes, I need 20, I need 25, I need 50. That is unwise. as much as we can say that that is unwise, it's
Yeah.
also unwise for you to give away your time in that way. And one might argue that your time is a more valuable resource than what we call money, you know.
Yeah.
So
You know,
that one I can stand by to agree that your time cannot be something that you give away frivolously.
I think we don't disagree. Because if you did that, your time would be a source of stress and misery.
Not necessarily. You might feel like it's that you're being a good Samaritan. You know, I'm being loving, I'm being contributing.
Yes, but at the same time, you feel that, obviously. But then you'll not be able to get the things you're supposed to get done. And then you'll be in a place where, oh my gosh, I never have enough time to get done the things I need to get done.
Oh, so
You
pain will
know,
catch up to you. Okay.
inevitably. Like,
Yeah.
for example, that role. I know you have that. When you're working, I might as well not call you. And because you're just gonna get back to me when
Yes.
whatever. But I have a rules. There's a few people that I know. Every time my phone rings, I look at it for a second. I see who it is, and then I decide. There is a list of very few people. Do I give full access to my time? Right, a few people only, and there is people that I give almost no access to my time. As a matter of fact, if you look at overall, you give people to access to your time more than me. It just give them at different times, and the time is appropriate. There are people that have been trying to go have lunch with me for months, and I just want, because I don't think that is I'm sorry, people, if you just see this, but I just want, and I'm not planning to do it, But there's few people that when they call, I'll pick up to find out what's going on. Always, I think in the way I function, that doesn't harm me. That helps me, because I have maybe it can be life experiences, because I've picked up the phone before and found out it was dire situations, and if I had not picked up the phone, it would have been terrible, and I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if I hadn't picked up the phone. That had taught me, okay, there's some people for whom to pick up the phone. So I have my small list, and this small list of people are going to disturb my focus, obviously, and I'm going to pay for it. But for me, it is worth it. It is worth it for me. But for other people, it wouldn't be worth it. If not for you, it is not worth it. So
Yes.
it's very much a personal thing. I think you have to work. For me, there is only one reading. Am I hating my exchange with time? And I'm telling you what, guys, in season, I'm not preaching to the choir as a professional. I'm currently in this season. This is my fight. I am currently struggling with time situation, because I've added a few things in what I do, a few important things too, but I did not add time, and I thought I was functioning efficiently. So there's a problem. So I need to become more efficient and solve the problem. So I'm still struggling with it myself. As I'm telling to you, I'm talking to myself as well. Figure out a way. Do the changes you need to make sure that time is not an opposition. Time is a friend that helps you get things done. It's a friend that you're neutral about. It's not a friend that you're trying to conquer or fight. If you can do that, no matter what that means for you, I believe you'll be in good position.
We've been on this one a little longer than I thought, but this was a lot richer than I anticipated, how we view time. The last thought that I want to share about time is I borrowed this from a book, Outwitting the Devil, if I remember correctly. Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill. That brother has given me some advice.
This man gave me one of the best definitions of time that I ever heard. He says, time is a rewarder. That's his relationship with time. He views time as a rewarder. If you do the right things, time is that entity that brings your reward to you. I was like, that is a beautiful way to put it.
I never thought of it until I read that book. Actually, I even forgot it until you say it now.
That is a beautiful way to put it. So it'll reward you. The reward may be positive or negative.
Yes.
So you get what you deserve, basically.
That's why you should not drift. If you're a drifter, then...
So, yeah. Anyway, I think let's move on so that this chat does not get overly long. But as you can see, we are like you, finding ways to improve our relationship with ourselves, our values, relationship with time, relationship with meaning, and all these things. And you're watching it live as we're growing as people. we may have this conversation again in 5 years, and you'll see that some things have changed. And things have changed because the circumstances of our life have changed. We have children now, and we're running companies, and we're doing things. So this is likely to change again, I suspect, in a few years. But let's talk about the fifth and final key concept that we brought for you today.
Yes.
And this one is mastery over emotions.
Yes.
Mastery over emotions. To lead yourself, you must also have a good approach to your emotions. Emotions are the way that we experience life. We experience life through emotions, and emotions are not to be suppressed. That is a concept that was also very, very fundamental to me. I grew up for the longest time, I don't even know where that came from.
Ah, what do you mean?
I grew
Our
up
entire culture. You be a
with-
man.
Yes, with the notion
What are you
that
crying? You men don't cry like that.
Ignore-
As a child.
ignore some emotions.
Yes.
In fact, ignore most emotions.
What
Just
does
go
it
out
matter?
there and do what you must do. And I've grown up like that. And this one is work that I've done consciously over the past 1 or 2 years, honestly. Because up until then, I was openly and loudly against emotional nonsense. That's how we put it. What are you talking about?
That is
My duties,
emotional nonsense. Oh my god.
my duties are laid before me.
To the chagrin of the legend.
Whether I feel good or not, I still have to do them. Is it not smart for me to focus on what has to be on the constant?
What's wrong with you?
You believe it? Oh,
You're spitting
Benny,
facts right here.
it's like, Benny, how do you feel about this?
What does it matter how I feel about it?
Does it not have to be done? But it turns out I was robbing myself of the life experience. I'm a human being, and emotions are meant to be experienced, and I was not experiencing them.
Indeed.
What do you have to say on that one?
It's a point of struggle. It's a point of struggle because first I didn't understand the term suppressing emotions. I thought, just by the phraseology of it, I thought it would be something that requires some effort. The idea of suppressing emotions, suppress emotion, it seemed to me that something that would require effort, that would require conscious, active work. So my conclusion was, I don't suppress emotions. I've never tried to suppress a single emotion in my entire life. You know? And then I did not understand that, and I don't think I understand it yet. Because observation, third party comment, other people around me that observe me were using the term apathetic to describe my behavior. Which I thought was crazy. I thought I feel fine, I feel plenty. You know, but it turns out somebody with the background, the history, the thing that we've grown up seeing and all that kind of stuff, apparently should be feeling a certain way about certain things. I still struggle with that today. I can say I have clarity. But what I've discovered at least is that might be useful for somebody else because it's useful for me. It might not require the effort you think it requires to suppress an emotion. It might be actually a coping mechanism that happens quickly to stop you from experiencing pain, like taking the hands off of a hot coal. And the problem is, suppressed emotions are not dissipated emotions, so they're still there. And to be honest, I'm not certain if I've quite have done that work as I should. I mean, I know I've watched you do the work for yourself, and I think I do not know how to do that work. I don't feel like something is missing. I don't feel like something is not right with me. And I'm sure there's many people that feel so, but I intellectually know that my response to certain event is not normal. I'm too often too neutral, which is a clue. So, I'm not an outburst kind of person. I don't express frustration in explosions in general. You know, I have not yet seen the warnings have been given, oh, it's going to come out in a fit of anger, or God forbid, the disease in the body. I don't know. It might be coming out in other ways. I'm speaking to you guys as a person who is struggling with this. I've identified that it is highly possible that I'm among those who suppress emotions quite a bit. But very much like you, I am not certain what to do about it. So here comes the question, Jamwanda. What do you do about it?
What do you do about it?
Mm-hmm.
If our teacher Peter Sage is to be believed, which so far he has, and on this particular matter, I've seen the results of it, the fruits of it. Simply, it's very simple in the way that it's put, but the execution is hard depending on the intensity of the charge of the emotion. But in essence, what he taught us was the purpose of emotions is to feel the emotions. Very redundant, doesn't seem to be all that clever, but turns out it's part of life. That this life, we are meant to be able to feel at appropriate times the full range of emotions that we have. And we have many emotions. And the caveat is this. Number one, you do not have to act on them. You will experience anger. You will experience hate. You will experience disdain, all these things. But if I'm angry, again, that space, you have the stimuli that comes, and you have a space before you act. In that space, once more, I get to choose how I can respond. And that response may just be silence, maybe nothing. But in the meantime, the emotion is there. I can feel the emotion fully, but I don't have to punch somebody every time I'm angry.
Yes.
That is a big key in managing emotions that I've learned. Number two, this one, I'm still in the practice of this one, but it's yielding fruit for me now. I know we'll have another conversation at some point in the future deeply about emotions as well. But today, suffice it to say that based on Peter Sage's tip for us,
Yeah.
emotions are allowed to be let to flow through you. And your approach to them should be one of curiosity rather than judgment. By judgment, I mean you shouldn't be somebody who says anger is bad, or this is good, this is bad, I shouldn't feel this, I shouldn't feel that. The point is you're feeling it. It's
Yeah.
already there. And all you have to do, it turns out, is to just let it run its course. Observe it. Observe what it does to you. Do not act on it. Do not judge it. Do not ascribe meaning to it. If it's anger, be angry. It turns out if you do not engage, if you do not resist, if you do not cast meanings on it, what kind of person can be angry? What kind of person can do this? Let go of all that. All it takes is apparently 60 seconds. Within 60 seconds, the emotion will have subsided. I've seen the fruits of it in some aspects of my life, and in other aspects, it seems that it took a little longer, or I was not able to resolve it within this framework. But I also think that in those times that I can't resolve it, just by being curious about it, it's because I'm also ascribing meaning to it.
Yes.
So this tip, it may take for you more than 60 seconds, but avoid feeding the emotion, because the more you feed it, the more it grows. And avoid suppressing it, acting like it's not there, because emotions are an energetic construct. They have to go somewhere. And oftentimes they will hide within you, and as Christian alluded to, they will manifest at appropriate times, at inappropriate times, with inappropriate intensity, and sometimes
inappropriate
also,
ways.
yes. That's what I would say. Be curious about them, let them run their course, and improve at that particular skill. Because again, every skill you work on improves.
Yes. And I know personally what you just said I'm struggling with, because in practice, sometimes I don't even catch the proper emotion to deal with it.
How so?
Let's say I will be in a situation where somebody says something that is rude, is supposed to create, for example, anger to all of us. And it's almost like it bypasses me. You know, I look around me, everybody else has been angry, and realized, well, I was not angry at all. Almost like the suppression was automatic. And the truth is, this weird thing that I'm trying to unearth that I don't understand is not even only for negative emotions, even positive emotions. I remember recently, I'm writing the book, and from the beginning, I've been dreaming of this moment where I put the last full stop on the last chapter, right? So I work. It's hard, it's annoying. I'm giving up sometimes and rewriting a chapter 3 times and hating it. And then I reached chapter 48. I write chapter 48, I battle chapter 48, and then I reach the end. And then I put the full stop. And then my thought was like, all right, time to go feed my family. Put my headphones on, put my computer into sleep. I ran to the kitchen to do what I must do. And I realized that I forgot to take that moment that I had promised myself in the beginning to feel the moment that I finished. I just rushed through it. It's almost that good moment happened and I didn't notice it. It passed me by. And this is happening in all sorts of emotional situations. And sometimes my response is not the best. You know, I remember I saw that in the eyes of my very emotionally expressive sister, Megs. There is a day I needed I think I was writing a song or something, but the battery for my guitar went off and we were out of batteries, you know? So she took it upon herself because she's a special person. Randomly, she just got out, she went to buy batteries so she can get me a battery. I didn't ask her this. She was doing magazine and things. And then she comes downstairs with a battery, with a gift to bestow upon me. And I'm like, well, what's going on? I'm a bit confused with the situation. And then she gave me the battery. I said thank you, but my face does not say thank you. I don't feel, though I'm noticing the kindness and I'm maybe with it. And her being here, she registered that immediately. So her face told me that she registered that. So I made sure to make up for it. But I realized that this is happening with a lot of people. And it's not something that is conscious, something that is on purpose, but it's something that is robbing me or experiencing life in its fullest, and I've not determined why and what is it. If somebody has a clue, please, message. I need help in this situation. I don't know what's going on, but I'm aware of it though, at least, and I'm giving it an observation. And I'm saying this because there might be people that are like me in this situation. As they're talking to you, saying that you have to feel everything, your emotions are meant to be felt, bro, they're not even making the threshold.
I'm viewing this differently than you, even what you're describing. To
Yes.
me, this is not really an emotional matter. It's more of a meaning matter. You're ascribing meanings, and the meanings that you ascribe to events, we are not all blanks. We're not all identical robots who should respond the same. Who would ascribe the same meaning to all the events? You're getting batteries. If somebody's out there disappointed because you didn't respond a certain way, then that is a problem on them. It's an event. If all of us were fully mature beings, we would understand that, as we said earlier, you choose the meaning to event. So if I'm doing you a kindness, coming to you again expecting a certain response, that shows my desire for significance.
Yes.
Okay.
Human desire.
Yes. No. The idea is, as much as I have the right to choose the meanings over my event, you also have the same. And I do not get to interfere with your freedom to choose. So that is what I would say there. So the fact that you finishing a book does not elate you, give you that sense of elation. The meaning is different. Or maybe you're discovering that your presets, your beliefs, and your patterns have a different way of ascribing meaning. Whereby my wife would think that is an event that triggers a need to go,
Let's go
to
celebrate.
go have bottomless mimosas at the Mexican restaurant. To you is okay, on to the next task. Now,
Yes.
even judging whether that is the right approach, that is better, it's none of anybody's business but you, because you have your own sets of values and rules. But if you tell me I'm incapable of feeling anger, I'm incapable of feeling frustration.
I feel all those things.
Yes. Now that now becomes an emotional
That is
issue.
psychopathy.
Yes. So I think the things that
That's
just make you angry are different from the things that make everybody else angry. And the case is the same as for all emotions across the board. I may be frustrated by something that does not frustrate you, and vice versa. So that is what I think it is.
So I'm an odd duck, which that is not news to me, but Anyways, I mean, that is helpful, a perspective that I did not have. That is not an emotional, a problem with emotion, but a problem with meaning. I shall dig deep into that, but yeah, that was for those who are like me in this situation.
Yes, so we've covered 5 key concepts
Yes.
as we endeavor to gain self-mastery in the way of leadership, to become better leaders.
Yes.
Agreeing that before we can be trusted to lead others through the chaos of life and all the challenges of life, because leaders are needed for that. Oh boy, leaders are important. Leaders are important. Things happen thanks to people who have a strong enough vision, stand by it, have that strong conviction to lead others into buying in. But that's a little bit off topic as well. The point is, we've come to the end of this conversation. So we've talked about leadership. We've mentioned the fact that before you're trusted to lead others, you better know how to lead yourself.
Indeed.
You better know how to lead yourself. And we discussed this aspect of leadership across 5 different key concepts. The first one was values. To lead yourself, you must have strong values that you stand by and demonstrate integrity in that way. That regardless of consequences, regardless of circumstances, regardless of the good opinion of other people,
Yeah.
you will do what you perceive to be right because your values are those beliefs that guide your life. We talked about the second key concept was mastery over relationships. Turns out the first most important relationship to master before even thinking about others is your relationship with yourself. Speak life into you. Be patient to yourself. Love yourself. And be committed to that effort, and you will improve over time. And you will see changes in your life that are radical. All of a sudden, it feels good to be in your own head. You enjoy your own company because you cannot separate yourself from yourself. You're stuck with yourself in that way. Thirdly, we talked about mastery over meaning. This notion that things happen in life, you have no control over the events that happen in life, but you have control over the meaning that you assign to them. So, because you have that power, claim your power and choose the meanings that serve you, the meanings that help you live a life that is fulfilling to you. Fourthly, we discussed mastery over time. Mastery over time. This one, we're both struggling on this one, but what I got from that key concept is your time should not be a factor in your life that is causing distress, that is causing issues. If you realize that the mere thought of time gets you all hot and bothered, your heart is your heart is racing, it means that you have a dysfunctional relationship with time, and that is worth looking into. It is worth adjusting your behaviors so time does not stress you out anymore.
Indeed.
Finally, we talked about mastery over emotions. That emotions are meant to be experienced. They're not meant to be suppressed. It does not mean that you have to engage in a particular action when an emotion comes along, but you have to allow emotions to be. We are human beings, and you have all these number of emotions that you're capable of feeling. Feel them all. Feel them all, because such is the experience of life.
Being a great leader is difficult. Yes, people, we are in the unceremonious end of our conversation. And we're trying to do these things because it allows us to grow. But we believe that we are giving information and sharing information for a select group of people who are actually interested in growth and change and these sort of things. And the information we're giving is valuable. At least we believe so. So if you're enjoying this and you like this and it's in a small way making your life better, or you want other people like your children or your young brothers to have access to this, the best way is to help us grow. And to do so, we need your help. We cannot do it by ourselves. We need you guys to share this message, to share our link with other people. We need you guys to like and subscribe, because as we grow, the quality of the product we bring to you grow as well. So we need you to do this act for us. And this was B.E.F Talks, brothers enjoying endless favor, and we bid you goodbye.
All right.